So I saved the best till last, the severe weather that sometimes students take a class in meteorology just because they want to know more about the severe weather. But starting with the severe weather that you might not be necessarily familiar with. Living here in the Midwest all of my life, I've never experienced a hurricane. But actually the name hurricane is a more specific name to our neck of the woods. Hurricanes, they form here in this ocean basin. Remember that we talked about there are 5 different ocean gyres. And I won't go through them all, but here we have, of course, the North Atlantic. And the other thing, you can already start to get a sense, see kind of the trajectory of this purple line. I'm going to put an H here, a semi-permanent high. Remember, semi-permanent highs are between what? The Hadley and the Ferrel cell. And so we have actually a movement, clockwise in the northern hemisphere. So anyway, that's all kind of working together. So here in our neck of the woods, we call hurricanes, we call tropical cyclones hurricanes, but I also wanted to broaden that out a little bit. You've probably heard of typhoons. They happen here. This is Japan, and was it Korea? I'm bad with my China. Okay, they call those typhoons. We have cyclones here, kind of in the southern cyclones here, and we have willy-nillys here. So I know willy-nillys. I'm sorry, willy-willies. I just think that's funny. So tropical cyclone is the generic name for hurricane. Now, tropical cyclone, we're going to talk about stages of a hurricane or tropical cyclone. And we say it reaches a hurricane or tropical cyclone stage when the winds are at least 74 miles per hour. So we'll talk about the stages here coming up. But here's a list, and it stops at 2011, but here's a list of the deadliest hurricanes. There's different ways to say, to kind of rank hurricanes. One is with loss of life, which is this one, or loss of finances. Okay, but you might go ahead and say, well, you think Katrina was the deadliest hurricane, because I don't know about how old you are, but Katrina is very much in the forefront of my mind. But notice that actually Galveston, Texas, back in 1900, got slammed with a Category 4 hurricane, and there were more than 8,000 people who lost their lives. I've got some pictures coming up here in a minute of Galveston. I just want to note that actually Galveston got hit again later in 1915. Another thing about the Galveston hurricanes is notice that they don't have the familiar names. You might be already a little bit familiar with naming hurricanes, and we'll talk. I have a slide on that. But hurricanes are named alternating female, male, female names. And that was prior to that system. So here are a few photographs. This actually is Galveston, Texas. Now you can imagine back in 1900, one of the reasons they lost so many lives perhaps is, well, not perhaps, I'm sure of it, is they just did not have the resources to know that that weather was coming and to warn the people. And the other thing is, the way they constructed their buildings was much more susceptible to hurricanes. Now, with regard to losing life, I would say that populations historically have built up along the oceans because of access to transportation. So it's not so surprising that Mother Nature gets us on the ocean base, on our coasts. So this is actually just a picture of kind of what an aerial view of a hurricane looks like. And this you might recognize, or maybe not, but this is the aftermath in New Orleans of Hurricane Katrina.